No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one.
What does a hat? Does a hat make
It
it?
actually does make it a lot
It does make
Does
it
it?
easier.
I'll take a hat then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wear this
You
one.
can wear
I'll
that
wear the
one if
Viking
you
hat.
want,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's do it.
Fold up the brim if you want. It gets
Oh,
in
this
my
one.
eyes.
Oh, I see.
You got a bigger dome than me.
Yeah, I've got a melon, dude. Yeah, I'll be all right.
It does actually help though,
Does
having
it?
the hat on.
No
yeah.
kidding. All right.
You
I
look
never.
like Joe Rogan in that.
So, do you pour water on that? Like,
Yeah.
You are in control of the water
Am I?
distribution.
what does the water do?
It sucks. When
Oh, okay, okay.
It's we'll
Makes it a little bit tougher.
Save it for the end. Oh yeah, it's
Got it.
brutal. Boom. Well, welcome everybody to another episode of the Banya. Today we've got a bad hombre in the sauna, sweating it up. Alex Martinez. To my left, per usual, is sexy Dana Lundquist. And we're super excited for this one. So thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. This is awesome. This is this is amazing. This is like, I love the concept, dude. This is really cool.
Yeah, we're having a ton of fun doing it, and
Yeah.
it's fun. We're kind of in and out in a way. I mean, we go 20 to 40 minutes depending on just how the combo
taps
goes
out.
and how we're all feeling.
Yeah.
The cold plunge is outside for us whenever we need it. I'm like I said outside. I'm usually the first one to bail, but don't wait for me if you want to go jump in.
All right.
Dana will cut it up for us here.
All right.
Yeah.
He's our technical wizard.
Love it.
Dana, why don't you hit it with the intro?
Sure. Yeah.
For Alex Martinez.
Absolutely. So Alex Martinez is BJJ Black Belts, owner of Aries East Mesa, all around amazing human, savage of a human. Trained under Paul Nava with our coach John Cabay, and that's as far as I can get. If you want to add any more, Alex, you're welcome to.
You nailed it. You nailed it. Yeah. It's been. I went white to black belt with Paul.
Oh, amazing.
And I was the second one to do it.
Awesome.
So yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
That's
pretty
amazing.
proud of that.
Yeah.
Who was before you?
It's he goes by Jiu-Jitsu Garden on Instagram.
Garden?
Jiu-Jitsu Garden, because he grows.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't grow
Gotcha.
grass.
Yeah,
he grows
yeah,
food. And So my buddy, yeah. So check him out. He's got a he's a very interesting guy. And anyway, but yeah. So he's why is his name escaping me right now? Well, let's get back to that. You'll have to cut that in when I remember.
We'll
Right?
add that in.
Yeah, just Dana will superimpose.
Yes, thank you.
Well, let's start off. If you could give us a reading of the temperature for us. The light just went off, but
Dude,
I don't know
it's
if you
like-
see that.
The last time I looked, I think it said 190.
Oh,
I
you're
think
going to
that's
make him
right.
put on his glasses?
Yeah. It looks like
It's
190.
it's over 190.
Okay.
It's just a hair over 190.
We got it hot for you today.
Ooh, you did. You did.
We're doing it real hot for the Aries East Mesa guys. We had Steve in here, and he was the hottest one yet. So
Really?
yeah, so,
And dude, he's a savage too. He'll stay in here all day.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
he wasn't even like, I was like dying, and he was just like, what?
Yeah. He's a savage,
You
man.
want to leave? Dude?
All things tough. That's all Steve. Like he loves doing it.
Yeah, that's so awesome. What a special human.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've cultivated. I haven't been out there. It's a haul, but from all I've heard and seen, like your gym is humming pretty good. So how many years are you into ownership of it now?
Officially 5.
Okay.
We incorporated. It'll be 5. We incorporated 5 years ago in March. So we're pretty close to our 5th year of incorporation. Brick and mortar opened on August 15th. So officially August 15th. So we're just over 4 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a
And I always talk about the incorporation because it started like in right at the beginning of COVID. So we incorporated, and then the world shut down.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we were sitting there like, are we gonna do like online shit? You know what I mean? Like, what do we do, right?
Yeah.
And I have a really good friend of mine who's my consigliere. Every time I have a question, I give him a call, like leadership questions, like navigating things, how to communicate, how to package things so I don't sound like an asshole. Anyway, I called him up and I was like, hey, this is kind of what we're looking at. And he said, I'll never forget this. He says, if you open a school tomorrow, I'll join tomorrow. He goes, but I want a place to roll.
right.
So just got to make that happen. So we found a place, rented it month to month.
Okay.
And got our student base growing, and we outgrew that place in 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah, and then
in COVID.
in COVID.
Yeah,
So
nice.
then Luckily, the place that we were looking at long term, the one we're in right now, became available right about the time we had like Group A and Group B on the wall, and nobody could move. We couldn't run. There was no room.
Yeah.
So, luckily that happened, and we got the bigger mat space, and the rest is history, man.
Yeah.
So how did you manage that with COVID? I mean, places kind of being open. You guys just worked through it.
Yeah.
Everybody wore a mask while rolling.
No. So, I guess it's okay to talk about now, but it was like piracy, man. Everybody was breaking the rules, and I don't know about you guys, but I rolled all through it. Like, even when we were closed, like there were open mats popping up here and there. Friends would text each other like, hey, they're kind of got a spot here. We're going to go roll. Rolled at my friend Dan Enzing's house almost every day. Drank a lot of bourbon and rolled jiu-jitsu. But we were able to work from home, when we weren't visiting customers. I was in sales then.
Yeah.
So that made it pretty easy. But, as far as from a business standpoint, it was hard because, at the time, right about the time we opened is when everybody was like sick of being told what to do.
Sure.
And the government was writing checks.
Yeah.
And asking people to stay home. So you would hit them with this like, hey, we have this intro program for X amount of money. They're like, yeah, cool, let's do it.
Right.
And we had some issues here and there with obviously
City knocking on
city.
the door.
Yeah. They're not necessarily. They would call. And ask, hey, what are you guys doing over there? And, people ratting us out.
Yeah, of
So
course.
it was one of those things. But we plowed through it. Luckily, the place that we have now is kind of off the beaten path.
Sure.
So you can't. It's very rare that people drive in front of it.
Right.
And we were able to just keep going, man.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's what people actually needed during those times anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, if nothing else, it's activity, but that outlet of rolling, we
Yeah.
all know what it's like when you got to get that energy
Yeah.
out, and it's
Yeah.
what people needed. So
Yeah.
that's good.
It's this community, and we're social creatures. Even introverts need people. It's so much so. Like I was watching this. I'm intrigued by like subculture, right? So I love like the Italian mafia stuff and the Russian mob and it's Irish mob. But I was watching this thing about prison politics, right? And you break a rule in prison, the prisoners handle it because they don't want major riots against other people or whatever. But this guy was talking about he spent so much time in solitary confinement that there was a cockroach that he found in his cell. And he played with it for hours, and he was bummed when the thing left. You know what I mean? Because that's all he had. Sure. He had that cockroach for like a few hours, man. Damn. So So think about when they talk about stay at home, shelter in place, all that stuff. Some people were alone, man.
Yeah.
And how many people couldn't go to their hospital visits, go see their doctors, and all. It was a mess, dude. It was a mess. So I feel bad for those folks.
Yeah, the mental tax that did on people is probably, incalculable for sure.
Yeah.
And like you said, like it's pretty wild to think that the punishment for people who are being punished is to be alone, like
Right.
to put them in solitary.
Yeah.
And nobody wants that.
Right.
It's a wild thing to have to experience, I'm sure.
Yeah. It's nothing that I would want to experience, but I'll give you an example. Amy and I were on we went to a trip to Clint's Well, and I'm an early riser. She is not. So, I was like, I'll just be outside in nature, with my thoughts. I woke her up 30 minutes later. I was like, you have to I don't have a positive thought in my mind right now. You know what I mean? It's like,
come and talk to me.
yeah. So I had to have her distract me. So that's something I got to work out, right? I mean, I gotta be able to be alone with my thoughts. But yeah, that was a tough day. So I can only imagine being there for hours and hours and have no recourse, right?
For sure.
No choice.
What was that? You said Clint's Well?
Clint's Well, yeah, it's up on the rim. It's like at 7,000 feet.
rim,
yeah.
Okay.
And it's like a little patch of
Like Sick Graves, kind of
Yep.
towards that area.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
that's
So-
my favorite place in Arizona.
Yeah.
is that rim, looking down at the desert.
Oh
like,
gosh, it's so great. Yeah, we used to go. My buddies and I would go up to Woods Canyon Lake twice a year, and do fishing trips out there and stuff. So I love it up there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you're gonna learn to be alone with yourself, that's the spot to
Definitely.
explore that.
Yeah, most definitely, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's something I got to work on.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 52. I'll be 53 in October.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're,
Yep.
you're super fit. So besides jiu-jitsu, what are you doing to stay healthy?
Physical therapy twice a week.
Okay.
Every week with Control Physical Therapy. My buddy Greg McClarty. He's the best, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely the best. We work on a lot of mobility stuff, and when we're not managing pain, right, we're working on mobility. And then in the same building, I have my friend Wadis Cooper. He has Unfair Advantage, so I go to him a couple times a week for physical training. And with him, like, we're just working on mobility, like trying to keep me on the mat as long as possible. And morning is like, my little morning routine is like hot tub, cold plunge, sauna every day. And then, hit my PT or my workouts, and then jiu-jitsu. I'm rolling jiu-jitsu 3 to 4 times a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's really important to get that recovery in.
Yeah. That's where I'm in the pocket with 4 days.
Nice.
That's where.
Yeah.
Not too much,
Yeah.
I'm happy to be there mentally still, but I'm if you do it if I do it less, that's when the aches start to come back out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you gotta keep your foot on the gas with that.
100%.
Otherwise, it's just harder,
And it's important to know, like, who you are and what you're made out of, because, like, at my age, if I were to talk to a lot of the guys that train jiu-jitsu that are my age or older, this is going to sound awful, but they almost, I'm not saying all, but some people try to project their deficiencies on you, like, oh, at our age we can't, right?
Sure.
And my first question is, like, what are you doing to take care of your body? Like, what are you fueling up with? Like, are you seeing a physical therapist? You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying, like, oh, everyone needs a physical therapist. Not everyone, not everybody has the money to do that. But if you want to stay on the mats at 50, I'm sorry, man, it's what you got to do. You got to find a way, right? You got to find a way. At least, learn some exercises that can help you with your mobility and keep you on the mat. Like, I'm looking for the fountain of middle age when it comes to jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean?
That's a point I'm always trying to hammer. It's like, how you want to allocate your money, and it's like people too often don't look at, like, what is really important, right? And it's your health.
Yeah.
So like, if you're gonna balk at spending money on anything, it shouldn't include that, right?
Correct.
And it's like, you gotta spend more money on better food.
Yep.
And training and or exercising, whatever that is for you. But that conversation, just like, it's stupid. Whenever I talk to anybody and they start bitching about the price of food or whatever, it's like, it costs what it costs, and like, it sucks for some people for sure. And it's a challenge, but if look at whatever else you're buying in your life, and like, maybe X out some of that shit.
Absolutely.
It's like momentary happiness. Like, all the stuff we buy on Amazon or whatever, it's like, that stuff is just a little shot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not important though.
Yep. And if you're everybody's good at something, right? Some people are really good at finance. Some people are really good at keeping themselves healthy. Some people are really good at spirituality, stuff like that. But there's a balance there, right? So if you're really good at, so let's say, physical fitness, you're able to keep yourself fit, but your finances aren't as good as they should be. You already have that roadmap to get on the right path, right? You're just financially obese, right?
Yeah.
Or you could be financially you could be financially fit, but maybe you're physically obese, right? The same dedication, the same discipline you have with your finance, you just apply that to your body, and all of a sudden you got 2 pieces of the puzzle that are working, right? So there is a roadmap, and everybody's an expert at it.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's a good perspective to have on it. I've never thought of it that way, and I found that, and I think this is probably for everybody, is finding some catalyst that drives whatever you're trying to achieve. So if health is that, something is going to drive you to want to be healthy. For me, it was being healthy so that I could train and be able to maintain that training. So my health and what I eat and, clean water and all that was driven because of, hey, jiu-jitsu. If I eat like crap for lunch, I'm going to feel like crap when I train. So I'm like, I got to eat better just because of that. So now it's like food is fuel. I'm going to use that as a means of getting healthy because I want to be able to continue training. So whatever it is, it doesn't have to be jiu-jitsu, although, of course, this is the jiu-jitsu podcast we want to talk about. So if you want to do it, please, I tell everybody, use that as your catalyst.
100%. Yeah. And I joke around with my students, but I mostly mean it. You know what I mean? You go home after a hard day of training, get up in the morning, and you make a poor choice at breakfast, and then another poor choice at lunch. I'm going to be standing right here waiting for you when you walk through that door.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm going to expose you.
Yeah.
Right, and then I'll notice like some guys who want to be competitors, and they're like, oh, coach, Christmas and oh this and oh that. And I just give them the speech, man. Like, hey, you think you have a choice.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice. Like, if you don't want to compete, you have a choice.
Yeah.
Right? Absolutely. You can go on spurts. You can put on 20 pounds. You can take it off when you want to. You can do, fit for summer look, whatever the hell you want to do. But if you're a competitor, sorry, man, you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
You think you do, but you don't. You don't have the choice to go have that burger. You don't have that choice to go have 6 beers and bounce right back and go into training because you're not 100%. Right? So.
And that only becomes more and more clear the older you get.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Trust me, brother. Trust me. Yeah, I used to, a stupid, 20-something-year-old kid in the military. I used to, drink all night, go PT in the morning, and then work all day, and then do it all over again. And but the older you get, it's a train wreck, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thankfully, at least for me in my life, like that stuff doesn't make me happy at all anyways.
Yeah,
so
good.
it's like, I think finding joy in healthier living is important, because otherwise you're just not going to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So we're talking about how many times I train jiu-jitsu. I've gotten to the point where I don't feel like I should train like super hard every time I train. So I'm more deliberate with it.
Yeah.
If I'm working on stand-up, I do stand-up. If I'm working on my guard retention, I do guard retention. If I'm working on top game, then I'm working on my sweeps and top game. So I'm very like, I don't ask anybody to go easy, but I go in with a very clear objective, and that seems to help.
Yeah.
Even though somebody's going hard and working on this, it forces me to get back into that position that I want.
Sure.
So it keeps me on the mat a little bit longer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and that was one thing. One of my early coaches, our mutual friend Jarrell and Lexi, both. They always talk about is when I was first starting is pick a move that or pick something, a couple of things, and just focus on those for a couple of weeks, and like always put yourself in the position to do those, so you can kind of, I say, master as much as you can.
Sure. Yeah.
And then move on, because you'll build that muscle memory, right?
Yeah.
So super deliberate training when it comes to that. So yeah, it's helped me quite a bit in having that idea.
I love that perspective, man. I love Jarrell and Lexi; they're awesome. So when somebody at that level kind of gives you that advice, it pays dividends to follow it.
Sure.
You got to do what works. So that's kind of.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, so you said you're about 52. When did you start training jiu-jitsu?
I was 40.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So in my early to mid 30s, I did triathlon, and then I did a full distance triathlon when I was 35, and I found it kind of hard to ramp myself back up. You know what I mean? Because when you're doing that much distance, like a short run is like 8 miles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a short run. So, it's a lot of wear and tear on the body. It's all conditioning. You know what I mean? I wasn't in better shape doing the full distance triathlon, the 140 miles, than I was doing the Olympic distance. You know what I mean? Which is like a medium distance kind of thing.
Sure.
But the conditioning was there. So it's hours on the, running, hours on the bike, stuff like that. And then, so getting back to kind of reality after training, 15, 20 hours a week, and then completing the course, everything just started to bother me a little bit more. Like, cars come close all the time. You know what I mean? It's kind of the nature of the beast, but this time it just bugged me more.
Yeah.
So I told Amy, we weren't married yet, but we were dating, and I was like, I don't know that I want to do this anymore. I don't want to get hit by a car, And so I quit doing that. I got really heavy. I did my last triathlon at 167 pounds.
Oh wow!
I started my first day of jiu-jitsu at 240 pounds.
Whoa!
Yeah. So getting fat's freaking fun. So Amy was going through nursing school with a blue belt, a Helson Gracie blue belt. who wouldn't shut up about jiu-jitsu. He just wouldn't shut up about it. And we used to hang out with him and his wife. Amy and I would hang out with them. And we'd be like, I'd tell him, it's like, if I got to sit through one more jiu-jitsu story, I'm going to fucking flip out. So, but
God, you did.
I did. Yeah. So, but he's the one that got me to Google jiu-jitsu in Mesa.
Okay.
And shout out to Kevin Bunyan. I got my black belt before him. I'm just
All
saying.
right.
I'm just putting that out there, Kevin.
Cool name, dude.
Yeah.
Kevin.
Yeah, so Kevin's a great guy. Still trains, he coaches. Super passionate about jiu-jitsu still, so it's really cool to see.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So that was what 40, so 12 years.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you've been a black belt for
I'm on my 6th year.
okay.
So I got my black belt pretty quick, just
Yeah.
under 7 years.
Yeah.
And I just haven't looked back, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good time for Luke to bitch out and go get in the cold plunge.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
How you feeling?
I'll jump in there too.
All right. We'll take a quick break.
Yeah, I got dizzy there. Oh, man.
Yeah.
6 a.m. training.
Oh,
And
no
then,
kidding.
Yeah, and then Coach Mateus. Not to give myself too much of an excuse. Dana
Yeah.
was there too. Oh, but then, yeah, tough day at work.
Yeah.
Lots of labor, so.
Yeah. How awesome is Mateus, man?
Dude, he's
He's so
incredible.
cool.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah, he's
he's the
I've known him a long time. I met him when he was a purple belt.
Okay.
And he was just like coming out from Brazil, doing camps and stuff for Worlds and stuff, and always like you know when you meet somebody and you're like, is this guy for real? Like,
Yeah.
Right,
you know what I mean?
yep.
Is he really that cool, or is he messing with me? You know what I
Right,
mean?
Yeah,
Right.
put on
And
a show.
he's been
yeah.
the same guy, ever since I met him, and such a great kid. I really like him. He did knee me in the face one time.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Got bony knees.
Mateus cheated.
It was, it was your fault.
Probably was. Yeah, probably was.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna take Mateus. I got you. My dad. Alex shouldn't be sticking
That's
his
right.
face in places it doesn't belong.
That's true, man. Oh my gosh.
Watch
yeah.
your grill when you're around my boy Mateus.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's it. Yeah. So for a while, like everybody's going out to Q's, and I showed up one time to their comp training, bro.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was like
Just
okay.
all savages,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Oh,
all
yeah.
pros. It was all guys that are doing it full time. So I was like, I think they're bored rolling with me. So
Yeah,
I was like
right.
the restaurant, which is fine. So it was good times, man. Yeah, and Q, like, I can't say enough good things about that guy. I don't know how well you know him, but if
Not
you
at
want
all.
to get to know
Yeah.
him, just reach out.
Yeah.
He is that guy.
Yeah.
He is sincerely that guy.
That's awesome
Yeah.
to hear.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially such a caliber,
Yeah. Yeah.
jiu-jitsu artist that he is. That's amazing to
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah, he goes, well, when we started our academy, and Q and Samir were my first call. I was like, I want to be in Aries Academy, and they're like, absolutely, and then they set up like, I felt weird at first, like I felt like I was, maybe taking up their time, but they're like, no, we'll set up a Zoom call and we'll just talk for a while, and
Yeah.
they walked me through like the what and the how,
Sure. Yeah.
made it really easy, and their whole philosophy is like no politics, we're
Yeah.
just family,
That's
you know what I mean?
the way to do
Yeah.
business.
Yeah,
Yep.
so
Well, it's just a testament to Aries as an
Yeah.
organization. I
Yeah.
mean, it comes from the top, and every single school is amazing.
Yeah.
Like all of the head coaches are amazing. I'm blessed to have found that. I mean, I think Luke feels the same way. We all are.
yeah.
I started right after COVID at a Gracie Baja over in Arcadia.
Okay.
Tried it for about 6 weeks, and it just didn't quite stick. Wasn't quite
Wasn't
the
your-
vibe I
yeah.
was looking for,
Yeah.
and took off 2 years. And then once I moved up to North Phoenix, saw the ads and jumped back in, and it was night and day difference
Yeah.
between that. So not to say anything bad. I mean,
Of course
obviously
not,
they're good,
of course
but
not, yeah.
just the vibe is incredible, and it's just shown with all the the whole organization.
Yeah,
So-
I'm more familiar with the guys on the east side, side of the East Mesa,
Mm-hmm.
with the Gracie Baja guys like Acatillo and those guys, and they're amazing people.
Yeah.
They're always like super supportive. Like we had a fundraiser for the Travis Mills Foundation, and you guys know who Travis Mills is?
No.
He's been on Rogan and he's been on Jocko and stuff like that, but he's
Okay.
like one of 5 quadruple amputees to survive the war in Afghanistan.
Oh wow.
So he set his backpack down in a cleared area that just happened to be a landmine,
Oh my god.
and he blew up.
Jeez.
And super cool guy. I've met him a few times. So my friend Dan Crepata, who's at Gracie Baja, he put on a fundraiser. We did it at Aries East Mesa, and all the Baja guys showed up. They supported, and the owner of the Ocotillo location, he's like, "Hey, we'll match everything dollar for dollar."
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
So I was like, "These guys are all right, man."
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That's
absolutely.
really cool. That's
Yeah.
really cool. Yeah. So
Yeah, just the difference in his approach is just like it's more clinical at a lot of those places, right? Whereas like at a lot of the Aries gyms, it's like your family,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like that culture just runs like way deeper,
Yeah.
versus just like some of the spots. It's like you feel like you're walking into a gym, you know, where,
I
like,
see,
you
I
would
see.
where you would like lift weights, you know.
Oh,
It's all,
okay.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I had this similar experience at a different place. I don't even know what it was called, but
Yeah.
it was just like it was a decade ago, and it was just very much like, you know, just come in, work out, get the heck out.
Yeah,
You know, it's like
yeah.
that kind of a thing, and
Gotcha.
that's fine. But you know, why not have both? You know,
yeah, of course,
Like,
yeah.
you're gonna-
And John is like the perfect guy to bring that. When he came to check out Nava's place, he had just moved here from Colorado, and he walked in and we rolled, and it was me, him, there's another friend of ours named Koa, and a couple other guys. We all rolled, and we went to Paul. We're like, get this guy to join. Like,
Yeah.
whatever you got to do, get him to join. And it wasn't just like, of course, his jiu-jitsu was really good, but he was just a freaking cool dude. Like,
Yeah.
we just sat
Yeah.
there and we talked,
Yep.
you know, and they're trying to clean the mats and we're still talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we became really fast friends. And then he disappears and I'm like, oh, he's checking out other places. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I got a little insecure and I'm like, Paul, where is he? And he's like, oh, he was on his mountain bike and he crashed. So I messaged him right away. I was like, get the hell off the mountain bike, get back on the mats.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and if you may not know this, but John Cabay and I were the same age and weight class at one time. He was 180 pounder. He was a middleweight.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So he's not middleweight now,
yeah.
but he was a middleweight, and so I went to 168 because we were both purple belts.
Sure.
So went to 168, and he was the one, 181, and we ended up on the same podium one time, which was really
Nice.
cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was neat. But I love the guy. He's one of my best friends.
Yeah, he's amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
very blessed to have him
Yeah.
as a coach. So it's awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So talking about fundraisers,
Yeah.
you were having you guys are having one in what, a week and a half?
Yeah, on the 25th.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of my students, a friend of mine, excuse me, he's been with me for a little over a year, and just one of those guys that just makes an impact.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He walks through the door, and you're like, wow, I freaking like this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he starts training, and he's talking about competing, and then you see him on the competition mats, and you're like, holy crap, this guy's all right. You know, and always the first to volunteer to do stuff.
Yeah.
You know, if we need something, he's always that first guy. And unfortunately, he had a stroke.
Yeah.
And he's in the hospital now. He's actually in my wife's unit right now for
okay.
rehab.
Okay.
But so we're doing a fundraiser for him and his family. Mainly, like we're trying to raise some money, like to bring meals and help them with transportation and whatever they need,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because life doesn't stop.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something I learned the hard way. But so the 25th, Aries East Mesa BJJ from 10 to 12.
Okay.
And then 1 p.m. we're going to a restaurant called The Hub. That's like 3 or 4 miles away from the
Yep,
academy.
yep.
And we're just going to hang out there and, and raffle off some more stuff. And dude, people have been donating some cool stuff, man. We have a tattoo artist that has donated like 5 hours,
Okay.
of his time. There's a guy that is donating like a whiskey barrel, like an actual whiskey barrel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So and different Yeti coolers, stuff like that. So a lot of
Yeah.
people have stepped up. So
Awesome.
if you guys have something to donate, please hit me up.
Yeah. Anybody who's listening, so please do so.
Yeah.
We
So
want to support the community.
yeah. So it's going to be in obviously in Russ's honor, right? He's still with us, but we're going to roll hard for Russ and then raise some money.
Awesome.
Is he
That's
gonna
great.
be able to get back on the mats one day, or is it's pretty bad?
If anybody
Yeah.
can do it, he can do it.
Yeah.
He's got a long road back.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the use of the left side of his body right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if he's such a hard worker, if anybody can do it, he can. Actually, his wife and Taylor. Do you guys know Taylor, front desk?
I know of Taylor.
She's awesome. So Taylor's keeping in touch with his wife, and he's like, he doesn't want to stop. Like when they start doing like movements and stuff like that, he wants to keep going. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he's just exhausted by the end of it. I was like, yeah, it sounds like Russ.
Yeah.
That's
Good.
cool. Yeah,
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
yeah, man. But yeah, so I was saying I learned about time moving on the hard way. Like I have a very, very weird relationship with time. And it went back to like my corporate job days where I would get physically angry when someone would put me in a meeting where I bring no value.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't keep my mouth shut. That was my biggest flaw. Mm-hmm. So, but when my friend Mark died in, I believe it was 2006. No, it wasn't 6. It had to be like 2012. Sorry, 12. So my friend Mark died, and I was like, super athlete, just massive heart attack, middle of the night. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing,
Yeah.
And so...
Wake up call.
Yeah. So that's when I started thinking, like, I got to get myself in shape. And it wasn't like, I'm going to go do jiu-jitsu because I want to learn how to win by advantage, right?
Yeah,
I just wanted to go train hard, right? I wanted to push my body because that's what Mark would want out of us.
Yeah.
But then it turned into something more, man. Like, I started pushing my body. Well, then I stopped neglecting my family, right? And because and what I mean by that is, like, you guys do corporate jobs by any chance?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in a corporate job, how many times have you sent your family to voicemail but taken your boss's call when you're with your family? Right? We do that. It's just a flaw, right? We have this fear of missing out, right?
Yeah.
So what I stopped doing is compartmentalizing.
Yeah.
So my life was everything in it. It was jiu-jitsu, it was Amy, it was my job, all that stuff. And then funny thing happened. I got in great shape and my career took off and my relationship with my wife is awesome. You know what I mean? So once I tied everything together, right? And I'm not perfect at it, right? Because there's times like you kind of bring some shit home.
Yeah.
Dude, sit in the driveway, decompress, don't bring that shit through your door.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of, and it helps, like, if I'm on my way home and something happened at work and I know I'm stewing about it, I'll call Amy and I'll involve her in my life, right? So when I walk through the door, she already knows, like, I've got a little chip. Instead of I walk in, well, what the fuck happened to you? You know what I mean? That kind of shit. So I'm telling you, man, if you guys, this is a message I wish I was more articulate, but if you guys can just combine everything in your lives and stop compartmentalizing, your life will take off.
Yeah.
You'll figure out who you really are.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'll add
Scary.
something to that too.
Yeah.
Like you have to take care of yourself first and find a way to be happy. I mean, physically, emotionally, all that. Otherwise, everything else is going to suffer, right? So if you're not happy, the people around you aren't going to be happy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like you have to be selfish first, and then recognize that that's gonna help everything else in your life. So take care of your body, take care of your mind, and then everything else will follow.
You're the only one that can fill your cup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And once it's full, you can pour into others. But if you're waiting for someone else to fill your cup, you're going to be waiting a long fucking time.
Yeah.
Right.
It's never going to happen. So.
Yeah.
And can I cuss on this show? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
All right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, no, I'll have to go through and edit everything. I'm just kidding. Yeah, you're good.
Just beeps. Nothing but beeps. Sound like what R2D2.
Oh, we didn't tell you this is only going to Christian audience.
Oh shit. Yeah.
But yeah, man. Well, you got anything else for Alex?
I mean, actually, you know what I wanted to ask you is probably like a year ago or so. I remember I was talking to you and you were like heavy protein, like whatever protein shakes and eating like higher protein meats or whatever it was. Like, what is your kind of like health protocol is that you go through? You kind of sticking with it, or what kind of things do you do?
So I try to stick to like just real food.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
If you focus on that, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like,
Reach to me, brother.
yeah. So
That's
I mean,
it.
if you're hungry and you want to crush 6 eggs, go crush 6 eggs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I slip, obviously. I have a burger here and there,
Sure.
chicken wings, stuff like that. But for the most part, like,
How dare you.
when I'm really fueling, and I'm feeling my best, it's single ingredient stuff.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
I can echo that.
Salt, pepper, and whatever else.
Yep. And hunger is a hell of a spice. So it doesn't matter at some point. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. You just stuff your face with something.
Right.
But, I can't afford to buy a bunch of Costco steaks and stuff, but I can get ground beef.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that'll help.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. And
Absolutely.
eggs. I eat a ton of eggs.
Yeah, me
when
too.
when the price of eggs went up, I was so pissed.
Yeah.
Because I don't have chickens. You know what I mean?
You're not
So,
gonna
damn
get
it.
any sympathy from me on that. Again, I'm like, I I preach what I practice with that. Like I'm not the richest man on the planet, but
Right.
I'll gladly give a farmer that's doing it right more money to get some higher quality stuff and
Absolutely.
then just skip fucking lunch or
Absolutely.
whatever I got to do,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But people need to get more comfortable being a little hungry sometimes too. That's okay, you know.
And drinking water helps. And that's something that we all suck at. I mean, at least I do.
Yeah. That's probably why I fucking suck at sauna. I don't drink water all day.
Why don't we go till one of us dies?
Okay. Yeah.
Nah, not interested.
Well, before we go, we should at least hit him with get some water. So
Oh
let's get
yeah,
some water
let's
on the
feel
rocks.
the burn, baby.
All right, feel this.
Damn, this is why I pay you, Dana. All the money.
I'm gonna need a double or triple the salary.
Yep. So just pour it on top.
Yeah, pour it all over the rocks. Yeah, and you'll feel it immediately.
Let's go. All right, here we go. Hang on, I'm gonna do one more.
Ouch.
Oh yeah.
That hurts a lot.
Oh, that got.
Dear God.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh,
Hard to breathe.
Holy crap. Why didn't you stop me at one? Guys, if you have never done this, so it feels like we went from a nice, comfortable sauna to the most intense steam
You're
I've ever
a burn
felt.
victim.
Yeah.
I've ever felt. Yeah. So, but thank you guys for having me, man. This is
Absolutely.
awesome.
No,
Yeah.
thank you, dude.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. I know that drive is a fucking haul. So
No, it's
thank
fine.
you so much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we really appreciate it.
But,
Yeah, if you're ever in a pinch and need somebody just to crack fart jokes, I'm your guy.
Well, you can joke all you want, but the one rule in the sauna is no farting
No
in the sauna. So
Save that for
jokes
fire.
are jokes are live.
Okay, that's cool.
Since
That's
you're
cool.
offering though, you got $50 you can loan.
No.
All right.
Well, it's
Thanks,
cool.
brother.
Well, thank you for helping round it out. You know, we want to have more than just black belts. And
Yeah.
we want all white belts, blue
Yeah.
belts, everybody, because
Is this
we're
our first-
tracking everybody's
Well,
journey.
Cabe.
We got Cabe and Mateus
Yeah.
and
Okay.
Vinny.
Oh,
So no,
shit, never mind.
Yeah.
We got all kinds.
Everybody has a cool story to tell,
yeah,
man.
they
So,
do.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Well, I gotta get the hell out of here. Thanks for listening, Alex. Thank you. Love
My
you,
pleasure,
man.
man.
You're the
Thank you,
best.
brother.
All right,
Appreciate
later.
it.
bye.